Oh, Glubby. So carefree in your little tank. No. Oh no. Glubby, no! Oh well. You're probably cooler than Glubby anyways. Glubby too. So the diving bell spider is what happens when a spider thinks it's a fish just to make its life harder. So you might think that since the spider lives its entire life underwater, you would think there would be some pretty extreme adaptations just to make this little guy's life a lot easier. And yeah, you'd be correct in thinking that. But this is nature we're talking about after all, so anything that makes sense is a pretty bad idea apparently. So, can the spider swim? Not well. Yeah, none of those 8 legs are helping you there, bud. Okay, so you can just about crawl around on the bottom of rivers and lakes, just like you would on land, by the way. But you can at least breathe underwater, right? Well, no, instead it has a bubble around its butt that it can breathe in. But how does it breathe through its butt? I mean, I've been trying for years, and the only results I've gotten are lost friends, a drawer full of restraining orders, and several public indecency charges. So on a spider's abdomen, it has these little flappy things called book lungs, and they're what's responsible for transferring the oxygen from the air to inside the spider, which are conveniently placed if you really like smelling your own farts. But this little spider also has these hydrophobic hairs on its abdomen, which basically means that when this spider needs oxygen, which is all the time by the way, it splats down a string of silk, which is pretty much the only thing about the spider that actually works underwater, and raises itself to the surface like a hot air balloon from your worst nightmares, poking its butt out the surface, and the hydrophobic hairs trap the delicious air around it. So now it has a little air bubble localized entirely around its butt. Magical. This bubble is also used for buoyancy, which is pretty important when you're trying to do the whole not drowning thing, which is really easy when you're A, underwater, and B, can't breathe underwater. Why are you here? So you're crawling around on the bottom of a lake, breathing your bootylicious butt bubble, searching for a little bug. Or tadpole or whatever, hoping that no fish or frog sees you, because then you're like super dead. Or that you don't get swept away by a barely strong current. And you find one. Great. Now it's time to eat, right? Well, unfortunately, no. This very well thought out spider's digestive fluids will become diluted in the water. So, nope. Can't even eat underwater. How are you even a real thing? So, how does this spider eat? Well, it finds a plant and makes a nest around it out of webs, which I'm pretty sure is a very long and awkward process. But we have just barely begun with the tedium, because now we need to move the air from the surface to be trapped with the webs. So this little evolutionary typo needs to hoist itself up to the surface to get more breathable booty bubbles and transfer them up and down to the webs again and again and again, until just enough air is trapped between the webs that the spider can just barely, kind of, uncomfortably fit mostly inside. Seriously, is this like a rebellious phase or something? I don't get why you're doing all this. So great, now you have an underwater base that no cartoon villain would ever want because it just smells like spider butt. I'm so proud of you. Now you can actually hunt prey this time while still awkwardly stumbling your way into finding a little water bug, which are a lot better at this whole underwater thing than you are. And now that you have a little buggy on your gob, it's time to clumsily amble your way into the only place that you can actually eat, which can also be destroyed by basically anything. And hopefully you have just enough air to make the journey. So you crawl into your not safe haven to actually eat, and I'm pretty sure you will never once have a moment of self-reflection that maybe you're making your life a little bit harder than it needs to be. Hold on, I gotta make this right. Get out of here!